At the very beginning, before any of us existed, before there were bugs on the ground or birds in the sky, before there were plants or any animals, before there was wind that you could feel sweeping across your face and sun that gently warmed your skin, before there was water or trees or any kind of light, God was there, looking out into the darkness. He knew that he wanted to fill this emptiness with something. From this darkness, God decided to create a world of color and beauty, a world where we could feel the wind on our face, run in fields of grass, and smell the sweet scent of flowers blooming in the summer sun. He decided to create a place where animals roamed freely, living peacefully with one another and with humans, where there was beauty everywhere, from lush green fields to clear running rivers and majestic mountains towering high into the sky. A place for adventure and laughter that brought joy to all who lived there. God began his creation by saying, "Let there be light." And the heavens were filled with a wonderful light. It was so beautiful and strong that it lit up everything in its path. From then on, light spread far and wide, bringing comfort and joy everywhere it went. Then God separated the light from the darkness. He called the light day, and he called the darkness night. During the daytime, the world was filled with beautiful light and vibrant colors, and in the nighttime there was darkness and calm and peace. And so began the age-old cycle of day and night, light and dark, in perfect harmony with one another. On the second day of creation, God spoke to create the sky. He said, "Let there be space and air between the waters on earth and those above." He called this area the sky and made it so that it stretched up past the water that covered the earth. He created it with a beautiful blue color, so vast and so wide. He carefully placed white clouds in the sky that began rolling by in waves, and he made sure that birds could travel through it, soaring high into the heavens. When God was finished, he declared that the second day of creation was complete, and it was good. Now there was light and there was sky. On the third day, God looked down from the sky and saw water stretching as far as he could see. It was beautiful, but it wasn't complete. So God said, "Bring the water that is underneath the big blue sky into one place, so that there is ground to walk on and not just water everywhere." When God spoke, the waters began to part and a dry ground appeared. He called this ground land, and he called the water he had made seas. And God said, "It is so good. I like what I've created. There is light so that everyone can see. There is night so that everyone can sleep. There is sky so that clouds can slowly drift by. And now there is land for people and animals to walk on, and water for people and fish to swim in." God looked around the world and thought that it was beautiful, but he wanted to make it even more perfect. So with a wave of his hand, he commanded the land to come alive with all kinds of plants. He said, "Let there be grass so that bugs can crawl around and explore." Then he looked further out and said, "Let trees come so that boys and girls would have a place to explore, climbing branches high up in the sky." He smiled as he watched the land come alive with lush green grass and tall trees reaching towards the sky. He created trees of all shapes and sizes, some large and strong that we use for shade and shelter, and some small ones we climb or make forts in with our friends. He made grasses grow in all the different colors of the rainbow, spreading out over the ground like a quilt. Then he created plants with fragrant blooms that attract bees from faraway places to come and enjoy their sweet nectar. He created delicious plants that we can eat to keep our bodies healthy and strong. All the plants and trees and grasses God had created began to grow so well, and the wind was gently blowing in the sky, so that the plants' leaves were softly fluttering in the wind. Everywhere God went, he found beauty in his creation, from the gentle waves of the sea to the soaring peaks of a mountain, and that was the end of the third day. On the fourth day, God put the sun in the sky. Its brilliant light spread out and filled the sky with yellow, orange, and red hues. He wanted us to know when it was daytime so that we could play and enjoy being outside. He also put it there because he knew we needed it to track how many days were in a month and a year, so that when our birthday came around each year, we could celebrate being 1 year older. God looked at all the things he had made and saw how beautiful the world was. He loved how the sun gave us light during the day and how it helped to bring warmth and growth to everything living. But then he noticed that when night came, there was no light in the sky except for a few stars. So he decided to create something special, something that would make nighttime beautiful too. He wanted to make sure our nights were peaceful and full of restful sleep. So he created the moon and made it so that it would come out at night and shine its soft light down upon earth. He knew that this light would be just enough for us to still see the stars in the sky and the world around us, but not enough to keep us up all night long. God was very pleased with what he had done. He watched as day turned into night, and the sun slowly disappeared from the sky, replaced by the soft light of the moon. The night was calm and peaceful, filled with stars so bright it looked like someone had sprinkled glitter across the sky. And at the end of the fourth day, God said that it was good. On the fifth day, God thought, "The sea I made is so empty. There are plants growing in it, but there's nothing that can enjoy the plants in the water." So that day he said, "Let the water be filled with fish and other animals that swim around." And then the sea was filled with all kinds of beauty and life. Every kind of fish was swimming around in the water, exploring and discovering new places. The whales were singing their wonderful songs, calming everyone who was near them with their voices. And the great big schools of fish were chasing each other around in circles, playing games and having fun together. The turtles were gliding slowly through the ocean, taking in all the colors below them while being illuminated by the dazzling rays of light above them. The seas were lit up with different colors as light shone through them, creating an amazing sight. Everywhere you looked, there were creatures living in harmony with one another, just as God had intended when he created them. Then God saw that the skies had only clouds in them, and no birds with their beautiful songs echoing through the air. So he said, "Let the sky be filled with birds." And as soon as he had said it, the sky was full of beautiful birds, whose soft feather wings were soaring through the air across the horizon. The birds began to make homes for themselves in the trees that God had made earlier, warm nests where they could snuggle up and rest. And all around, you could hear the birds softly singing their nighttime songs. And that was the end of the 5th day. God looked around at the world he had created and was filled with joy. Everywhere he looked, there was beauty: the deep blue of the sea, the bright yellow of the sun, and lush green forests growing beneath a clear blue sky. There were so many different creatures: birds singing in the trees, and fish swimming in the rivers and seas. As God looked down from the heavens at his creation, he was filled with a deep sense of peace and joy. Every blade of grass that swayed in the wind, every fish that swam in the ocean, and every bird who soared through the sky filled him with admiration. He had crafted this world so well. On the 6th day, God filled the land with all kinds of animals. Everywhere you looked, there were different and unique creatures. Giraffes stood tall, their long necks stretching high above the clouds. Kangaroos hopped around, bouncing over hills and through valleys. Bears growled as they roamed around their natural habitats, searching for food, while hippos lounged in nearby rivers, chomping down on greenery near the shore. Soft sheep grazed in fields, while mice squeaked from inside warm burrows in the ground. Even snakes slithered in and out of sight, as if they had some secret mission of their own to attend to. Every animal seemed to have its own special purpose. As God looked out onto the land, he saw the animals of all kinds playing together, each with their own features and characteristics. He was very pleased with what he had made that day. All of the animals were happy, content, and safe in their natural habitats, living in harmony with one another. God looked out across the earth and saw everything he had made, and was pleased with all of his creations. Everything he had made was beautiful, from the tiny pebbles in the streams to the majestic mountains that stretched high into the clouds. He loved it all and wanted to be sure that everything was taken care of. So, he set out to make someone who could do just that. God took some dirt in his hands and slowly began shaping it. Out of it, he created the first people in his own image and gave them a special task: to take care of everything on earth that belonged to him. He asked them not only to look after the plants and animals, but to look after themselves as well by gathering food from the land around them. God wanted to make sure that they were able to live in harmony with their world while also taking good care of it. The people he made were so thankful for all the wonderful things he had given them and how he took such good care of them too. After everything on the earth was created, God saw it all. He saw the light. He saw the darkness. He saw the seas and the skies with all their special fluffy clouds. He saw the ground and all the special plants and trees he had made. He saw the sun so bright, and he saw the moon just dim enough so that people could sleep so soundly and peacefully. He saw all the big and little fish in the sea. He saw all the animals on the land, the wild animals, the farm animals, the bugs crawling all around in the grass, and he saw all the birds singing their beautiful songs and flying so high in the sky. And then he looked and saw the people he had made to look just like him. Everywhere he looked, there was beauty, from the light of the sun to the depths of the oceans, from the bright colors of plants to the little creatures crawling around on the ground. Finally, God said, "It is good," and He loved all that was created on the earth. On the seventh day, God reflected on all the wonderful things He had created. He was filled with joy as He saw the beauty of the plants and animals and how His creations worked in perfect harmony. It all gave Him so much joy. The plants, animals, water, and light. He was pleased at how perfect it was, and so He blessed that day, making it special and holy. The sky was full of stars, shining like diamonds in a sea of blue. The sun spread its warmth and light on everything below, creating a peaceful atmosphere. After admiring His work for a while, God said to Himself, "This is good." Then He rested to enjoy His creation, birds singing in the trees, sheep grazing in fields of green grass. The sun beamed down on everything below, creating an atmosphere of peace and calmness. Everything within His creation was grateful for what He had given them and rejoiced in His glory. And that was how the earth was created. God spoke it into existence, and each morning He created brought new beginnings, hope for what might come in the day ahead, and a reminder that anything is possible with God's love guiding us forward. He spoke, and the plants, animals, bugs, and rivers appeared. The trees flourished with leaves of all colors. The forests were filled with songbirds singing praises to their Creator, and even the ocean seemed to sing a beautiful melody in response to His voice. The sun was slowly setting over the horizon, and stars were beginning to appear in the night sky. The colors of blue, gold, and pink mixed into a beautiful sunset that painted the sky with brilliant hues. Everywhere God looked, He saw His masterpiece, perfect in every way. His creation was so beautiful, and it was so good. He was happy with what He had made.